So good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to the WOMAG's Coffee Catch-up today. It's Thank you so much for joining in the rushy mornings and coming to listen to us, to share your views and listen to what Outi has to say us today. So the recording is in progress, and any of your friends who have missed it, please you can let them know that we are available at the LinkedIn page. The links will be available for everybody to watch. And my name is Karnika Arora Puri. I am a sustainability food entrepreneur. I'm the owner of few companies across Asia. The purpose and the belief that we run our companies is that we believe in having good products which are also good for Earth. So sustainability has been an integral part of whatever decisions we make. And today, since I got a chance to know that we are doing something about enlightening people about the purpose of the business, so I might as well, grab the opportunity to share the platform with Outi and talk about how sustainability and how businesses should have purposes beyond numbers. So I believe that when you are in a capacity to influence and you have enough resources, numbers should not be the only driving force that you have. There should be something beyond that, and there should be a larger picture to what businesses as a purpose can do to the society, for the environment, for all of us. How businesses can influence each one of us and create an everlasting impact. That is what we are going to discuss today. Since we believe that all of us in our lives and in businesses and in our corporates have some kind of influence. How do we execute that influence? What impact that we want to create in business so that it becomes purposeful for the whole society and the environment? That is what should be our driving force. What resonates with us, not just because we have to kill the profits, just because we have to make numbers, because we have to rise. So what would we measure it as a success if we are doing beyond numbers? What can make an everlasting impact on the society, doing good, along with making numbers? So that today we are going to discuss this and know this, that what should be our driving point in our professional lives that should drive us towards sustainability, that should make the purpose of our lives, of our business, corporates, wherever we are, whatever situation we are, how we can impact the decision making and how it can affect the direction to which the businesses are moving. So I believe that all of us can make a difference. All of us have that intent of doing good to the society. But many a times when we are stuck in our work, we are not able to know how we can make that change. Today, we have with us Ms. Outi Grüner. She is a sustainability advisor and she's the business marketing head with the Purpose Business. She will be assisting us in knowing that what is the Purpose Business. So Ms. Outi has done at various platforms as work with various multinational organizations, and she has had a lot of programs to initiate the process of sustainability, to initiate the process of business purposes. So we all welcome Ms. Outi Grüner, and we wish and we hope that we all take away good things from today here. And we all see that what will drive us to be more sustainable and more purposeful from the place we are. Over to you, Outi, and welcome here.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Karnika. Did you want to? Hi. Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely to be here this morning. Thanks so much for joining. I feel very passionately about this topic. So I'm always happy to talk to more people. And the way we designed this morning as well is to be really an interactive engagement with you guys. So I hope that you are ready to also share your perspectives and to have an open mind to consider how we could and should be doing business a little differently moving forward and what really drives business success and how do we even define business success. So that's kind of the bottom line from my end. Karnika, did you have something more to share on your screen, or shall I just go into my presentation?
Yeah, I was waiting actually for few more people to join so that I could talk about WOMAG also. But since I feel that we are just with the same number, we have got few more joinings. So I'll
Sure.
just share my screen with people, and we would like to share our WOMAG organization work with everybody. Just a very quick review. So today is our coffee catch-up that I have already talked about. Today's agenda, and then we'll have a Q&A for everybody. You can please mention your questions in the chat box while we are doing the presentation, and we'll have it at the end when we are done with Outi. And most of you are welcome to please put in your any queries that you have. We'll take it at the end of the session. There are some rules which I would suggest. Please keep yourself mute at all the times, and you can raise your hand, but then that will be taken at the end of the session once we are done. And anybody is most welcome to put in whatever suggestions you have put. This is about me. And I've already mentioned I am a sustainability consultant, and under my brand NutriWell, I run a brand where we offer food products which are sustainable to the consumers, and also we do the part of educating society about adopting lifestyle options which are sustainable, circular, and which are good for all. So that is under my brand. We have a brand NutriWell under which we work on sustainability. And this is WOMAG. WOMAG is a woman-led organization which is for promoting, our purpose is for promoting gender diversity in the food and agribusiness. And for this, we have regularly skill building and industry events we keep having. So would request everybody to keep updated with our events which keep happening. We are actually wanting to build future leaders who can make a difference in the society, and we can promote diversity in the workplace. This is about Outi, for which I've already given a introduction. She's the best person today to help us know how we can be making more purpose in our businesses. So that's it. We are together in this, and anybody who can. This is the points of contact for WOMAG Asia, which will be listed. I'll be highlighting this slide later also. And today now I will give the platform to Outi to start with the presentation. So over to you, Outi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. All right, let's get going. I'm going to share my screen. I prepared a few slides also to help us engage with you all. Now that we have a few more joiners, I might actually go ahead and then use the Mentimeter for some of the engagements to collect some of your ideas and thoughts and opinions. And then at the end, we can have a live conversation since we have a Zoom opportunity for that as well. So you can all see my screen? Very good. All right, so I mentioned briefly, today the topic is really about the future of business and the role of business in navigating the complex global challenges that we all know that our world is facing. We are living in a very interesting, challenging, even terrifying era, and we all know that something's got to change so that we can have a future worth preserving for the next generation as well. And since we are all in the world of business, we are going to focusing on the role of business today. So what is it that businesses need to do, and how can business need, and how can they find that required balance between economic success, between environmental stewardship and social equity? So I just want to make sure that I can use a couple of minutes for making that case for needing to push for more purpose-driven organizations and what that looks like. So helping to make sure that we are all kind of aligned on that and understanding where we are coming from and what we're talking about. And then I want to facilitate at the end some conversations with you to understand what kind of challenges your organizations are facing, and where do you feel like the purpose and having that guidance of a purpose can help you to do better in your businesses, and then what might make a difference. So first, a very brief introduction. So Karnika already introduced me. So my name is Outi, and I work with an organization called The Purpose Business. So we work in this critical intersection of purpose and sustainability. And that's actually my background as well. I've been working in corporate sustainability for well over a decade, a long time, well beyond. And it's actually really exciting to be able to these days talk about purpose, because when I started working in sustainability, we were nowhere near ready to talk about how we actually do business or integrating and embedding purpose into business. In fact, a lot of business leaders would come to me and say that profit is my business and profit is my purpose. And back then it was about talking about CSR and making that a little bit more strategic, embedding that and seeing how can we use our resources a little bit more strategically. And we've come a long evolution from purely just using a part of the profits and put that into something good to be good corporate citizens, and into now being able to talk about the role of business in the society and as part of the society, and how can business success really drive well-being for all people and planet. So at the Purpose Business, we're a 9-year-old organization, and our purpose is to guide leaders to evolve business as a force for good. So really we guide leaders and businesses to move away from the business as usual, and to be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem. So we want businesses to be a force for good, to create more well-being for people and planet. And we work really closely together with another remarkable organization called Within People. And their purpose is to help people find purpose and grow. So together we have a great mission, and we work well together, and we like to come together as TPP Within, as you see our brand mark being here. So it's really a real life demonstration of kind of how two businesses come together to deliver more value to our clients. So I have actually my colleague Hua from Within People, she's a partner at Within, joining me today. So at the end of the conversation, she can also share some more and respond to any questions that you might have. So I just wanted to make sure that we understand this collaboration as well. I like to always say the real life demonstration how partnerships can work. But without further ado, I would like to actually get to know a little bit more about who's with us today. So who's here? And I created this little playful thing. So this is not scientifically backed data on who you are, but I like to understand that let's do this a little differently, the introductions. So since this is a coffee morning in that spirit, what's in your cup this morning? I think it would be fun if we do this in Mentimeter. If this is, you can use your mobile phone if you like, or you can just, if you're on your laptops, you can go to menti.com and enter this code. It would be really quick. And then we can see on the screen how we react. All right. So what's in your cup today, in this morning? So I've chosen 5 beverages. You can choose the one that you actually are drinking this morning, or you can choose the one that you feel like you identify with. So we have the researcher drinking matcha, and that's the person who's really looking at the long term, so kind of strategizing for the long term. We have the coffee. That's me actually, by the way. I always like to show my Moomin mugs. I'm from Finland originally, so I always drink my coffee from my Moomin mugs. That's the laser focus to find the solutions to what matters. So the urgent, what's important, what do we want to focus on at the moment? We have the influencer, the bubble tea, the opinion leader, if you like, who just really laser focus on getting that message out there, whatever that important message is that is on your mind. We have the catalyst, water, the systems critique, the no BS, ready to criticize the status quo and pushing for better. And lastly, but definitely not leastly, we have the enabler, the Milo, the positive-minded, the eternal optimist who's nurturing the culture of care. So let's see. You're able to click on your favorite beverages.
Okay, you have to switch.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go. Now I see. Variety of people here. Fantastic. Oh, we have a lot of coffees in the coffee morning. Good. Nice mixture of change makers here. So I like to design, this when I have these talks and when I want to get to know people, I just feel like this is a nice way to understand and to talk about these different roles that we play, because we all play different roles in our lives. And sometimes we might need more coffee, fixing, what's urgent, what's important to me right now. But at times we can also embrace more of a matcha side and see the forest from the trees and strategize for the long term. And at times we need to focus on that culture building component as well and really support each other. So we all play lots of different roles in our lives. And this is kind of a way to get an introduction to the kind of impact we can create with our different roles that we play. And I want to make sure that we are all kind of in that mindset that we can be agents of change, that we really all have agency to create impact and to generate change. Doesn't matter what kind of role we have in our organizations or what we play in our lives, but we all can make a difference. And that there's multiple ways of making a difference. So since we have established that we are all change makers, all working for impact, what is that impact that you want to make? So what's driving your personal journeys? Think of your organization, think of the work that you're doing or that dream job of yours. What gets you out of the bed in the morning? Why would you make that cup of tea or coffee, go to work? So what kind of, I'm interested in those drivers that what matters to you beyond your paycheck. So if you go back to the Mentimeter, you can type up your answers. Just think of your aspirations and really like, what is the driving force that gets you out of the bed, make that matcha, make that coffee? What gets you excited? What impact are you here to make? Healthifier. Lovely. I want to help people. Waste management. Fantastic. Absolutely. Love best version of myself. There is a fashion. Oh, loving this. So that every individual can thrive. Leave the world a bit. Food space. Lovely mixture of impact makers here. I love this. Focus on myself, focus on the people around me, focus on everyone's well-being. So it really does come back to creating more well-being, isn't it? We want to create more well-being for ourselves. We want to create more well-being for our children, to the people we work with, to our broader stakeholder groups, and ultimately to the planet that we live on as well.
Outi, I think everybody wants to create an impact, and that's really good. Our audience is already a change maker.
Yes. I think it's nice to see as well how we are all kind of aligned, but we have our different focus areas, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it is as well. I like this. I once, this is not my quote, but the one person posted it as a response to a LinkedIn post once, that you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So you kind of have to pick your battles, right? We can really do anything, but we cannot do everything, not by ourselves. So we can care about everything, but we do have to focus on something where we know that we can make a difference, and have that focus. So that's lovely. All right. So then we know that we want to create impact. We want to create a lot of well-being around us. So how do we get to that impact? And why is there a need for this impact as well? So for me, it's always that if we want to create a positive impact, we want to create this well-being for ourselves and for people around us, and then for the planet, because there clearly is a problem that requires solving. So we want more equality because we see how unequal the world is right now. We want to help those, we want to help people. We want to help those who are less privileged than us. And we want to respect the planetary boundaries as well. That's why we need this waste management strategies as well in place. So for me, it all comes back to the change we need in, and then the topic of today is about the role of the business in this. So why is business at the core of this change? And why is the topic of organizational purpose then at the core of this? So why do we need organizational purpose to lead us and guide us, to drive the future of business? So first, we kind of need to link this, like I spoke first about, that we work in this intersection of purpose and sustainability. If we want a future that is filled with well-being for people and planet, we really need business leaders to embrace a new mindset and way of working to enable that well-being to become a reality. So I kind of have to do a little quick brief on why we need to change. So I've been working in corporate sustainability a long time, and this quote might be familiar for you, not since Milton Friedman's time, obviously. But we live in this capitalistic world, right? Where business leaders are saying that profits are my purpose, and profit maximization, we need to create profits for my shareholders. That's why I'm in the business. It's all about, comes back to the numbers. And in Milton Friedman's language, it was even a society level responsibility. It's a social responsibility of business to increase its profits, because the thinking was that by creating more and more profits, we will create more well-being. And of course, capitalism has developed, it's brought a lot of benefits. It's developed the economy, it's delivered increased material wealth, it's increased social mobility, and then brought on a lot of benefits. I'm always speaking against the profit maximization principle. So when we just focus on profits maximization, so just making more profits, that's what leads to unsustainability. So we can be very clear that the role of business is to make profits. I'm never going to speak against that. We have to be profitable as a business. Every business needs to be profitable, and that is a good thing if they make profits. It's about how we make those profits and at what cost. So profitability is good, but profit maximization, profits at all cost, profits at any cost, will lead to an unsustainability. And the traditional way of doing this business in business usual, why we need this transformation, is that we've used to thinking that the resources of the earth are for free, that they are up for grab. We just use whatever is out there. The planet is ours to use. But this is the invoice that we are seeing from Mother Earth, because it is not for free. So this is literally the cost of doing business as usual. So doing business in a way that is just focused on maximizing profits, doing profits at any and at all cost, is at the cost of environmental degradation. It's at the cost of social inequality. It's the cost of climate change, poverty, modern slavery, hunger, as we know it in this agriculture world as well. This is really all consequences of doing business at any cost. And last year, you probably know this, last year was the warmest year on record. And I'm feeling real eco-anxiety these days because I have 2 small children as well at home. And I'm wondering, what kind of planet are we leaving for them? What's their future going to look like? And we are looking to beat this record again this year. This year is most likely going to be the warmest year on record again. And you work in agriculture, so you know more than, you probably know this really well, that climate change is resulting in reduced agricultural productivity. There's a lot of implications of climate change in how we do business in agriculture. And at the same time, as the world population continues to grow so rapidly, there's an increased demand for agricultural commodities. So we actually are in this paradigm where we have to feed more people more fast and faster than before, but we need to find a way to do that with reduced resources as well. So agriculture is the world's largest industry. It's crucial to our well-being, as we were establishing before. It's crucial to our survival, obviously. So it's really critical that in agribusiness, we are also looking at how our operations are managed sustainably. So when we look at all these consequences of the business as usual approach, it has to be clear that companies' purpose cannot be just making profits. The cost is just unbearable. So if we set up that we need a new way of doing business, we need a new mindset at looking at profitable business. How do we make healthy profits, sustainable profits, really creating a sustainable business, but understanding that a profitable business can be part of the solution for solving problems in the world instead of creating more problems. So really, the role of business needs to be to create profits while creating well-being for people and planet. So there is a need to change the way we do business. I'm sure that we are quite aligned on that. We have to look at that whole evolution of not just doing partially something good as CSR or enlightened shareholder value as external partial profits goes into something good, but integrating that good into everything that the organization does. And at the very core of the organization should be the principle that we are here to create more well-being for people and planet. So I'm going to talk next about why purpose is the answer for this, why we need purpose to guide us at that in achieving the sustainable future. But since purpose is a word that gets used quite differently by a variety of stakeholders, I just want to make sure that we know what we are, that we are aligned on terminology as well. So the way we look at purpose, this is the PAS 808, the British Standards definition of purpose. So it's an organization's reason to exist that is a unique, optimal, strategic contribution to the long-term well-being of all people and planets. And if you remember, the UN definition for sustainability is defined by development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. So it's really about sustainable development, and sustainability is defined as well as creating that well-being now and beyond. And that's the same thing for purpose as well. So what is my strategic contribution, the role to play in creating that well-being? So I was aiming to create this link between sustainability and purpose because we need purpose then to be our guide for that sustainable future. Because purpose can be our northern light, that forever constant, never changing guide that we can always come back to and lean towards for every decision that we make and in every engagement we make with our people, with our stakeholders, with our customers, that really guides us in making the right decisions for our business to be profitable and successful on the long run. So purpose is kind of like the organization's role in delivering that vision of the future. So I wanted to give you an example. I don't know, is there anybody, I mean, this is probably a household name for this group, since we are very agriculture focused. Is there anybody here in the room who works for Olam? I don't see all the faces, but I guess not. I see some shaking heads. Excuse me. So Olam is one of my favorite examples, and I have not worked for them. So you can correct me, and then if I'm wrong at anything that I say as well. But I have been following them for quite a long time because I'm a fan of their founder, Sunny, how he talks about purpose and sustainability being a value add for the company. So Olam is a food fiber feed company from Asia working globally. And as we know, agriculture faces huge environmental and social challenges. We mentioned before the global population that needs to be fed, but the planetary boundaries that limit us. So the Olam has a purpose statement. It's a very lovely purpose statement. It's to reimagine the future of food and agriculture systems. And I love that purpose because they are really able to put that into, excuse me, I've been having some problems with my voice lately. So Olam's purpose statement is lovely because it's really actionable. They're very much able to put that into action and lean onto that for every decision making that they are going through. So for them, and the way Sunny talks about his company, is that sustainability is a value add. They can create value add in terms of strong profits to the shareholders, yes, the profitability part, but they can create that while looking after stakeholders, such as the farming communities, the employees, and the whole ecosystem within which they operate. And Sunny often has given this example that, you know, they are one of the, I think they're the second largest producer of almonds in the world. So they need a lot of bees, the insects, to pollinate the crops. But because of climate change, Mother Nature just cannot guarantee that there will be enough bees to do the job anymore in the future. So he's investing heavily and buying actually millions, 2.5 to 3 million bees a year to ensure that the pollination can still happen. So it really is kind of looking at solutions like that that can drive long-term success for them. But it's also the way he uses the purpose is as a cause of the company. And he says that he wants his employees to come to work, to not just grow or buy more coffee, to buy more cocoa, but they come to work to reimagine global agriculture, to reimagine what needs to be done and what can be done differently, what can be done better, so that we can provide to all our stakeholders. So if you think of it, that this is a cause of your company, that I come to work to reimagine global agriculture and food systems. So I'm not just doing the status quo and then growing more and using the similar methods that we've always done, but I'm just reimagining it. What can it be like in the future? And then taking that perspective of the 2040 vision of what needs to be done differently. What will the world look like in 2040? And that role, kind of that every person has a role to play is a really important component at this. I don't know if you know the story of that President JFK, John F. Kennedy, visiting NASA for the first time, walking down the alleyways of NASA and meeting a janitor, and casually asking the janitor, "What's your role in NASA?" And the janitor responding, "I'm here to put a man on the moon." And that's a really powerful way of showing that we all play a role in our purpose. So it doesn't matter what the KPI is for every single person in Sunny's world. You know, there's those who are buying the cocoa, there's those who are producing, there's those who are innovating, there's those who are selling, but they all should know their role to play. Just like the janitor knows that he's there, he's doing his part, he's contributing to putting a man on the moon. Okay, so your turn. I've spoken a lot about purpose, and I don't know what's guiding you in your impact journeys at the moment. So if you go back to your Mentimeter, let's look at what you might have in your toolboxes at the moment. I need to do this. Sorry. There you go. So do you have, how many of you have a purpose statement? Or are you operating more on you have vision, mission statements, vision statements that are guiding you on your journeys, helping you out? Quite a lot of purpose statements here, lovely. Yes. Very encouraging to see that we have purpose-driven organizations here, and I look forward to learning more about how that is helping you in your journeys. All right, great. So in our world, we actually feel that it's really encouraging to see that so many of you already have a purpose statement and know what I'm talking about, and I hope that it is working for you and it's embedded in your operations as well. So very quickly, kind of about the differentiation as well. In our world, when we speak with impact-driven organizations, they very often are vision and mission are very commonly in the toolboxes. So mission is about that what we do, whereas vision is about achieving that future, so what achievable future, foreseeable future. And then many organizations tend to start by kind of having those strategies. What are we good at the moment? What are we going towards to? Whereas we really should be starting from asking, why do we exist in the first place? So what is it that our organization is in the best place to solve at? What is the focus of our organization? Why do we exist? So the purpose. I'm actually doing a time check because I know that we are ending the time of do we still have a couple of minutes to go? So let's skip the next case study and then we just go for conversations, or do we want to talk more about the differentiation? Karnika, do we have a couple of more minutes?
I think we need to rush, so it would be good if you can quickly wind up and leave some takeaways with the audience, so that at least they have something that resonates with them and something to take away from us today.
So I'll do that very quickly. So I wanted to show you another case study to make the differentiation. Okay.
Fine.
Yes, thank you. So we worked with URC, who came to us because they had a vision and mission, but they felt like they needed something more to guide them through, especially the tough times. And being a branded, a branded company, a company from the Philippines, a leading food and beverage company, have a lot of high quality, good value brands and motivated employees, but the vision and mission were not enough, because your mission is about what you are doing. So that's what you are good at the moment, what's selling at the moment, what attracts people and customers and employees to you right at this moment. But that changes all the time because the market changes and the times change. So your mission has to change all the time because that's just taking stock at what you are really good at the moment. So we really need to make a differentiation between mission and then having purpose, that never changing constant guide that will always be there to inspire more progress and to inspire more change. But as the times are changing and as our companies are taking stock of what makes sense at the moment, what do our people want at the moment, what do customers want, and what do they need in the future? They need to be guided, that decision-making needs to be guided by something that never changes, which is the purpose. So for URC, that then the process ended and completed with the purpose statement of they exist to delight everyone with good food choices. So instead of focusing on just the brands that they sell, or are they online, or are they selling in physical stores, they can rely on, they can go to their investors and they can go to their employees knowing that we are making decisions based on, is this delighting everyone with good food choices? So what kind of changes do we need to make to our products, to our production lines, to our relationship with our stakeholders? That all needs to be directed and guided by that constant, never-changing purpose of the organization. So I'm happy to use more time on all of this. I'm cutting corners here a little bit because we are running out of time. So I just wanted to emphasize as well for the first part of the presentation about profitability being good, that when we talk about purpose-driven companies, we are not asking you to compromise on being profitable, because being a purpose-driven company has actually proven to be profitable for business. It creates higher returns, it improves and boosts innovation, it improves talent retention and attracts the best talents to the company. It increases customer loyalty. There's a lot of data. I just chose a couple of nice looking data points, but we have a lot more proof points for this as well. There was recently a study about the FTSE 350 companies, where it became clear that only the purpose-driven companies were actually getting much better ratios for their equity and debt as well. So they were really performing financially much more strongly, and using kind of efficiently the equity and assets to realize those profits, the ones that had a purpose statement, the ones that were driven by knowing why do they exist and what do we stand for? So what really matters to our company? But in order for that purpose to be realized and to be embedded into the operations, it has to be kind of coupled up with the way we work, right? So purpose is that never changing one constant guide that you have, the reason to exist, what is our problem to solve in this world, how the role we play. It needs to be combined and then supported by the strong values of the company, which is the way we show up. So what do we expect as behaviors? What are the key behaviors that define the way we work? But we also need to understand what is our ambition of the future. So we like the word ambition. You can use vision if you prefer. It's very similar. But it just talks about that foreseeable future that can be achieved. So what we can visualize achieving. And then purpose will guide us towards that vision of the future. All right. So since we're getting near to the end of the hour, if we have a few more minutes time, I'm happy to take any questions or having a conversation about how those of you who already have a purpose statement, how is that serving your company and what is that helping you with, or what are challenges that you're facing that might be useful for you to have a guideline to help direct more business success. Feel free to just yes, Brilia.
Thanks, Outi. I think I've listened to you speaking like several times now, but every time you speak, I always like come up with like something new to ask, because it's always interesting. I have several questions, but in the interest of time, I'll ask the one that I wanted to ask most. How do you differentiate purpose business with, because I think from the Mentimeter, it seems that most companies have purpose, right? But how do you differentiate those companies with purpose and truly purpose business? Because I think there are also like some companies have purposes only for branding purposes, or just like to tick a the checkbox, right? That we have a purpose and that's it. But you don't actually track your progress against that purpose. So how do you differentiate that from just companies with purpose and the truly purpose business?
That's a fantastic question. Maybe the next session we can talk about embedding purpose, or what we need to do and how is this done. So how can we, because obviously, yes, you're right, having a purpose statement is just the starting point, right? That is not guaranteeing any change. You're not a purpose-driven organization by having a purpose statement, but it's the first step that we need to have to discover our purpose and then articulate that. And then the work begins, because then we need to start embedding it into the strategy, embedding it into the operations, and ensuring that we always lean back on that purpose and let that guide our employee engagement, the way we enact with our customers, with our other stakeholders, how we define our business development, what our sustainability action is like. I would like to argue actually that if you want to be a sustainable business, you will only be that if you actually don't know your purpose. And if you know your purpose, there's no way that you're not going to become a sustainable business. Because if you really lean on that purpose, that what is my strategic contribution to creating well-being for people and planets, you will make those decisions that are leading to creating more well-being for people and planets. But it's hard work, and it really takes hard work on an everyday base from every single person in the organization. But it comes to leadership showing the way and teaching the teams and managing the teams, bringing the purpose statement and the decision and kind of arguing all our decisions and all our actions based on that purpose. So making that kind of our natural way of speaking will help people internalize it better, and to kind of evaluate every action that they are taking. Today I'm joining this call. Is this helping me to realize my purpose better? What am I learning out of this? What can I take away from this to make sure that I make better decisions in my everyday working life? So purpose needs to be embedded into every aspect of the way we work and the decisions that we make and the stakeholder engagement. So it's a never-ending journey, obviously. But there's a lot of we actually have a lot of tools and ideas and can facilitate and guide conversation on this as well, and best practices on how to embed and what can be the good starting points. This is so we can have a separate session on that, and this can be done on an organization level as well to kind of look at those biggest challenges or pain points that people might be facing, and then seeing what is the best way to go by them, to respond to them.
Thank you, Outi. Yeah, if anybody else, we can have questions from our audience. If I would like to leave the floor to the audience to raise hands or have some questions. And in the meantime, I would also like to ask you one thing. It's very easy when sustainability or a thought of making a purpose trickles down from the C-suite or from the board down to the employees. It becomes easy for the business to follow that purpose. But sometimes as individuals, like we were talking, that each of us can have an impact on how to change the flow of the activities. So how being in the middle management or how being at the lower management or whatever rung we are, if we want to make a purpose or we want to drive a change, what challenges do we face when, the top management is still not aware that they have to become sustainable, or still they don't have the thought of bringing a change? So what challenges and how easy or how difficult do you think we can do that change? So we can do things to bring that change in the higher management.
Yeah, thank you for that. So there's always a lot of challenges. So I think it starts at the top in a sense that I like to try to make the business case first, and then I showed you very briefly, some numbers that will help to make the business case, that it is proven that purpose-driven organizations can do well. But it's also the same that as it's a starting point that we do need to get a new mindset for the business leaders, that they first and foremost have to get out of that headspace of that it is about profit maximization. Because very often it is still that the shareholders or the board or that somewhere is this pressure coming from that we still need to make more profits. And then it's always more profits, one more, a little bit more. It's always more, we have this short-term thinking, and that is the biggest challenge that we need to overcome, is to change that mindset, that we need to sort of think of a way that profitability is good, but it is not always just a little bit more profits, that there has to be a gap at some point, and then that we need to measure the success of the business by something else as well. So what level of profitability is desirable but what other well-being are we creating that is also desirable and is also a measure of the success, and then how do we measure that? So this is the mindset change that is for me the biggest challenge, because it's a huge change to how we are thinking. And even when we are very impact driven, we still think that, but I can still make a little bit more money, right? So and you can, but then we need to get that mindset that, okay, you can make a little bit more money again, you can still make more profits, but how? And that we couple that profit making by, is it also creating well-being around us?
Yeah.
So then it is good. So it kind of needs to go hand in hand. But so in general, it already helps when we can show the data that purpose-driven businesses are profitable and do well. They attract the best talents. So in very practical terms, the conversation we might have with companies is that we ask about their challenges. So very often it is that we are bleeding people. We can't attract the best talents. Our people are not performing. We are not getting the most out of them. And then we start working through those challenges. Okay, there's an actual challenge that is prohibiting you from growing, and that we can address. And then we tackle that first. Why are people leaving you? Why are you not attracting the best people? Why are they not performing at their best capacity? Why are they not doing well in terms of doing well as people and doing well as employees? So what is it that is blocking? That's just one challenge of many, but just to use an example. So it's often that's helpful when we start looking at that pockets of what is blocking that growth, what is blocking the growth and success of the company, and then finding those specific solutions to that.
Okay, that's great. I think to start with, that's one challenge. One by one, we can try doing it
Step by step.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that will help. All of us together, definitely we can make a change. So
Yes.
With this, I think all of our audience have already put in, and we are good to go. I would just like to thank everybody for being here, taking out time. And thank you so much, Outi. We have got another insight of how we can all together bring a change towards better purpose in our life, in our business. And I think we are not waiting for anybody to put in questions, so we conclude it here. Thank you again, everyone. And I would just, anybody of you, please follow up to see we have more WOMAG events coming up. And you can join us at the womagasia.com. You can look at the LinkedIn page for this recording and for whatever future events we can have. That is how we all together can make a change, and that is how all of us should try to make an impact in the society. So I would leave with that takeaway that we are the change makers, and we should, try to make an impact and take the direction towards change. As women, as leaders, as, human beings who are more caring towards sustainability. So thank you so much, everybody. Thanks a lot. And we'll catch you up soon in another coffee catch-up session. Stay updated with WOMAG and try to join. You would definitely have a lot of events to follow up. So, yeah.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Outi. Thanks a lot. It was wonderful to have you. And
Great to connect with you. I hope to stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely. We will stay in touch. And I'll get back to you because there are a lot of things in my own business that I think they need to bring a change, and we should, after listening to the purpose, it has more solidified in me that yes, to drive a change, we have to start somewhere. Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's a takeaway from me also. Thank you so much.
You can do anything, but you can't do everything. And then just make sure that we know that guiding principle will help us make the right decisions.
Yes, of course.
All right, have a good day.
Yeah,
Bye.
same to you. Thanks for this